Oh, okay. So basically, we're gonna be, reviewing communication because we did some of that when we were looking at customer service, right? We're gonna be looking at the marketing communication specifically, a lot of it directed at your external customers, not your internal customers so much. What makes the communication effective, the importance of integrated marketing communications. And tomorrow, Mas Colin will wrap up with the digital marketing. That's his area of specialization. So you won't see me tomorrow, okay? And the coaching will be focused on the digital communication, largely because, frankly, a lot of the other types of communications are so expensive and somewhat unrealistic for micro and small businesses. So we have had to make sure we adjust. So I'm laying the foundation with the concepts. It is really the digital marketing strategy that you guys are going to develop for yourselves that are going to be most helpful. Knowing the
Hello, good morning, everyone. All right, so today we'll be starting the marketing communication and the integrated marketing aspects of the program. And during this module, the topic that we'll be covering is defining what communication is. We'll be looking over the whole communication process. So once we understand the process, we can better understand how we can communicate with our customers, how we can enhance how we do that. We look at marketing communication specifically, the characteristics and the flow of it, what it takes to have effective communication. And then we're also going to be looking at integrated marketing communication, the objectives, the characteristics, and the process model. And I even believe in the coaching session, we're going to be developing a digital strategy, which will be done by me, which will be a part of this whole process. All right, so strap yourself in while we just take on integrated marketing communication. So the first thing we're going to touch on is a definition of communication. And communication really means to share some ideas, information, or feeling using symbols and so forth. Communication is a transfer of messages or a message from a sender to a receiver by means of signal of some sort, right? So you can think you make a sound, you can show a sign. That's what really communication really means. And there are a few keywords that you're gonna see here, like sender, receiver, message, which you're gonna really go into a little bit more in depth, right? And communication occurs when the message that is sent reaches destination in a form that is understood by intended audience. So I think that is very important, that last sentence here, because if the intended destination doesn't receive the message or it's not understood, then it's effectively not real communication. It's probably like noise or something along that line. So you need to ensure the intended audience, so we actually want to send the message, it actually went there and the message actually understood, and that is the real definition of what communication is. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna move on now. And like we mentioned, communication can take many different forms. It can be written, you can write a letter, send to the post office, or in these days we do a lot of email. We could do a presentation, it could be a in-person presentation, it could be online like I'm doing now, or it could be through pictures or illustrations. You're looking at the slides, you can actually see what I'm talking about. So these are different forms of communication. All right, and to continue, as we move more into the digital world, we have product demonstration through virtual reality and all those kind of things. Or if somebody comes at Matthew's bike show, you actually can show them little wheelie machine, and those are different forms of communication. And one I think that is overlooked a lot is body language as well. So even though somebody may be saying something with their words or with their action, with their words, sorry, their body may be saying something completely different. So they may be rolling them eyes, they may be screw up them face. So these are all different forms of communication. All right, so let's talk about the communication process itself now. So like I mentioned earlier before, there are different aspects of the communication process. So we have a sender, we have a message, and we have a receiver. And I think these are things that we can, if we're not familiar with it, we can have an idea of what it is, right? So the sender is a person who is actually beginning the communication process, actually starting the communications. They're sending a message to somebody else, which is the message in the middle. And the receiver is the intended audience for the communication. But you're gonna see two words here, encoding and decoding. So encoding really talks about, I'll get into a little bit more about at what form you're gonna basically put the message in, and decoding now is how the intended audience is gonna interpret or receive the message, right? And then you would have things like noise, and noise doesn't necessarily mean actual noise, but it could be barriers to communication that can be involved in the process that distorts the message. So the sender wants to send a particular message, and because of some barrier to the communication, you may not fully understood what was said or what was done, right? And then the feedback, what the receiver basically gives back to the sender, will kind of illustrate if the message was received properly. So one easy example you can think of is maybe like the Chinese telephone. Anybody ever play that game back in the day they used to go to school? You remember that game? The Chinese telephone?
Yes.
Man, the message never gets through.
Never get through. You start off with one something and something completely different the year back. Right? So that would be a really good illustration of the whole communication process and how the different aspects really affects it. Right? So here, as you can see, the definition, the message is about the content that is being sent, what you want, the idea, what you want to be shared. The sender, the source, or the initiator of the message really talks about the source of the message. Encoding, right? So like I mentioned, first the message must be encoded by the sender. And like I said, there's different forms. So it could be words, it could be pictures, it could be symbols, body language. I see Dr. Smith have her hand up. You can go ahead, Dr. Smith.
No, finish this first.
Right? So these are different forms in which you can encode the message, right? The sender's perception of the receiver will determine the use of the various elements of the message. So depending on who they're sending to the audience, they may choose a particular different type of method to encode it to ensure that it's received effectively. All right. You want to go ahead now, Dr. Smith?
No, finish with this one too.
Okay. The next thing now is the communication channel or the media. This is basically the channel that used to convey the message. So to make the message deliver efficiently, the channel must have direct access to the receiver. So if you want to send something to somebody, you have to ensure that whatever channel that you're using, the receiver must be able to access that channel. So for example, if you want to market to elderly persons within a community, you can do social media ads, right? That may not be the best form of communication or the best form of encoding your message to reach that particular audience, right? So communication requires a channel with a sender and receiver to handle the message. The perception, again, plays a role in deciding the appropriate channel that you want to use when trying to send a message. The receiver may be a consumer. So if you're trying to receive, target your target market like we did in our business model canvas, right? And then the decoding now occurs when the messages touch the receiver's senses in some way. It relies on the interpretation of the elements of the message and the perception the receiver gives meaning. I think one good example I can think of, I don't know if everybody knows this example. Did anybody remember, I think it was Kylie Jenner, Pepsi commercial? That ring a bell to anybody? Nobody? So I'll give a quick synopsis of what occurred. So basically, Pepsi Cola did a commercial. I think when it was a lot of the Black Lives Matter protest was going on, there's a lot of tension in the States. And I think Pepsi did a commercial where there was a protest going on, and then the police was fully armed with guns and batons. And they basically said that, you know, one little Pepsi can basically curb the tension between both persons. And so the college and basically gave the police a Pepsi, and everything was over. And they thought that the audience, there's a lot of backlash because they thought that Pepsi was being tone deaf to the realities of what was going on. And they basically boycotted the brand for a period of time. So that's one of the way where you may feel like you're sending a particular message, but when received, they interpret it completely different. All right.
Yeah,
Dr.
good example.
Yeah, can we go back to the actual model, the communication model?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Who is the sender in all of these? I'm not asking you, Colin, I'm asking the rest of our heroes. Who is the sender in your situation? Okay, don't all answer at once. You can make me who drugged up more lively than you. Y'all not hearing me? Hello?
Who is sending it, Miss Sharon? Is it you, the business?
No, me I ask you,
The
yes.
market, is
But
it the
yes,
market?
Matthew, you the business is the sender.
Yeah,
Okay?
but you know you want terminologies, you know, may I go down into some detail, maybe as my marketing director specifically,
No,
or, you know,
no. I mean, you are a startup. You are a small
yeah,
business. You may not
your
have a
business,
marketing director, but
right,
your business want to send the message, right? No, so?
definitely,
This
definitely.
is your message, and you send it to your target market, to the people that you think going to most likely to purchase where you are sell, right? Those are your receivers. I want to make sure you understand, you know. And the encoding and decode, Mr. Abbey, a question about the sender and the receiver. Mr. Abbey, you never did just put up your hand.
Yes, miss. What I wanted to say, miss, from my understanding, the sender, for example, the sender would be you and Mr. Collins. Just say make, and the message would be what we're learning, and we would be on the receiving end, miss.
In this situation, but we are talking about your business, because you not look to improve make operation, you look to improve your business, no sir?
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Okay. And does it matter who you choose as a spokesperson?
Yes, it does. It should.
Clearly, based on what Colin just said, it clearly does, and it also
Yeah.
matters the message as well, right? So you, when Adam was an embryo, Miss what him name? Bill Cosby used to sell a lot of Jello, but once the rumors and the case were, well, once the rumors, which then led to an actual case and found him guilty of rape of women, drugging and raping women, what do you think Jello do? Jello pulled those ads because he's no longer the wholesome person, because that relates now to the encoding and decoding, because the impression of the messenger, right? The messenger actually has an effect on the perception of the message, right? So if you're using somebody, if you choose to use somebody as a stand-in for your company, ensure that their values or at least their public face aligns with your business, because otherwise it could be very damaging. Otherwise, it's probably better you deliver your message yourself, okay? The decoding have everything to do with your past experiences, your belief system, everything where in your head. That's the reason why 5 different people will watch the same car accident and have 5 different accounts. Okay? So don't get hung up on the big words. They are very simple for you to understand, I think. Are there any questions about this? Hello?
Good to go.
You're good to go. Mr. Abbey,
I understand, Miss.
Mr. Nisha,
Clear.
The
Understand.
over having the right message, you have to make sure it encoded properly to be decoded and received the way it intended.
yeah. And when Mass Colin do the integrated marketing communications and you look at the video, you will also see that it is a message, the marketing mix, the promotional mix. So if you have a high-end brand, in the example they give you in the video, if you have a high-end brand and everything about it is premium, the price high, the clothes is high quality, you're targeting people who are fairly well off with high disposable income. You can't go put it in a strip mall, no little dege place, because that is also a message. You understand what I say? That's also a message, and it's confusing to your customer, because either you have a high-end brand, in which case you put it in a high-end mall or a company store. You can't just put it in a thrift shop or a discount plaza. That can't work, because you will be confusing your customers. They will believe that is knockoffs, is not real. Right? Masculine, pick up back. Thank you. Sorry.
All right, everyone, we're gonna continue now. We're gonna now move into marketing communications. So we just touch on communication itself. So we're gonna look at communication specific to marketing itself. And one of the things you're gonna be always hear about is the 4 Ps in marketing. Does anybody know what the 4 Ps are? You ever talk about the 4 Ps in marketing? Anybody familiar with that?
I think it's price, place. I'm not sure if promotion is in
Kind
it.
of product. Product and promotion.
Product and promotion is.
Product, price, place, and promotion.
And promotion.
Very good. Masculine. You stuck? I think Max Colin having technical difficulties again. Apologies for the disruption. But yes, you guys were right. Oftentimes them add a 5P package, because sometimes the package signal a lot to you. Colin, jump in anytime you're able, and I will shut up. Okay. I really apologize for this disruption, but you know, Digifail and Flopsy, you don't have no control over it. Yes, product. Absolutely, Mr. Shana. So product, price, place, and promotion. And I was saying some of the folks have a fifth one, which will do I'm trying to find who I can't send the request. I'm trying to share my screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, so sometimes them say package is the fifth one, but formally there are 4, and you guys have named it. Named them, I should say, successfully. Let me bring up the. All right, so basically we are looking at a situation where you're designing and delivering your brand messages, right? And what you want to do is impact your customers. Most of you don't have stakeholders yet, but one day when you're not doing an IPO and go and list on the stock exchange, you will have, well, sorry, not stakeholders. You will have shareholders that time. Everybody have stakeholders because everybody have people who are interested in the success of the business. So the marketing communication are related to communicating. You use related media to communicate with a market. You design a strategy in order to reach your target market most efficiently and effectively. Efficiently because you're not a whole heap of money and because failures are costly. And effectively so that they can act as quickly as possible. The marketing communication is a collective term for the various types of planned messages. And remember, the messages can be formal messages and informal messages. Some of the more formal messages we are accustomed to include advertising, direct marketing, sales promotions, and I want to make a special note on sales promotions. Sales promotions is probably what most large companies spend the most money on, unless they actually have a sales force, in which case it might tie. Okay? That's because you direct sales promotions. Remember, we talk about intermediaries, wholesalers, and retailers, which in your case might be your partners. So sales promotions can be directed at those partners. They can be directed at the intended target or end users, but sometimes the target market are really the buyers and the users are different from the buyers. So the parents might buy the thing, but the kid is the one who uses it, right? So you have to appeal to both, right? So sales promotions are directed at them. And then you also have sales promotions directed at your sales force if you have one. So that's why sales promotion is probably the most costly for most corporations. It may not be the case for you because you are a startup, you're a micro or a small business. So that's not the case, but I wanted to just clarify that. How is it that you think packaging actually helps with communication, by the way? And Baron, just pull your mic and talk. Nobody make me have to call upon you. Because I can't actually see who I talk.
Sure, thing like quality information, you know,
Yes. So
it give some people a perception of class, you know.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Matthew. Next time I'm going to call on Mr. Nicholas, I'm warning you, because I think you're here on your iPhone. I'm warning you because I don't hear from you, so I want to hear from you. Package can be very important. You hear him say share information, you pick up some of the Grace Kennedy things and their recipes. And what you will notice is the recipe, a source of Grace things them a promote in the recipe. Them not tell you if you go buy no Eve nothing or no Lasco nothing else, right? So they're actually promoting their other products. Also the package, like expensive perfumes, even the packages that when you buy things from Amazon or any online retailer, when it's a high-end premium brand, it's like the package prettier than even the thing we're inside, right? Because the package communicates the class, the package communicates the premiumness. The 5 most used promotional tools for corporations include advertising, personal selling, sales promotions, public relations, and direct marketing. When we look at the characteristics of all of these, they're intended to inform, persuade, and remind, to encourage people to act, to create feelings up in them, right? So you have feelings, beliefs, and behaviors, right? And the best behavior is for you to actually purchase the product, promote it to other people, right? Give a referral if it's services, because referrals are extremely important. Not true, Mr. Abby, not true, Ms. Tish, Mr. Shana. Referrals are extremely important. So sometimes the behavior is not just the buying, but also the referring, okay? But you must always remember that it is an interactive dialogue, which is why the model includes the feedback. So you need to be hearing from your customers one way or the other, which is why the digital tools are so critical for our small businesses. Marketing communications can flow internally or externally. When we talk about internally, it's just like the regular communications we were talking about the last time when we did the customer service. Externally, we're talking about the customers and the end users, right? Or we're talking about our channel partners, right? But the wholesalers or retailers. So, Mr. Abby, you have a lot of partners that help your business. So you need to communicate with them as well, just as effectively as you communicate with your end users, because their service is critical to the overall perception of the value you're delivering, right? Miss Tanisha, you have wholesalers that you buy from, and you have to communicate to them what it is you need and all of those kind of things, so they can give you the support that are critical for your success, because without that you won't succeed, okay? Or it will be very difficult for you. You'll be always looking for new partners. Internally, it's about making sure everybody's on the same page, right? Because you have staff, you have a team, and they're critical to delivering the value to your customers. So it's important that you have internal flow of communication, both formal and informal, and that everybody has a buy-in. Mas Colin, if you ever rejoin us, just let me know and I'll stop. So all of this makes the marketing communication mix. So how do we ensure that we have effective communication? Because we don't want to think nothing, you know. Well, the first thing is we identify our target audience, right? And we spoke about that when we were doing the business model development. We talked about the segmentation variables and creating profiles and the archetypes. So we have to know our customers, know who they are, know the kind of message they'll be most susceptible to, right? Or most responsive to, know the places where they would want to receive their messages, all of those things. You have to get intimate with them. That's why you have customer relations management. Know them well, just like yourself and just like your business. Effective communication also relies on having set goals, because without the set goals, then you don't know when you achieve your results, because not every communication is for the same thing. Okay, so like, I'm apologizing to you because I don't have much energy and Mas Colin have technical difficulties, as opposed to other messages I might want to send as MEC to you. Okay, so you design your message based on your goals. You select how you're going to send it, because that's all the communication channel mean, right? Whether you're going to use, a brochure with lots of pictures, a video, a podcast, because those are all new ways of communicating using digital media, right? Or if you have the money, advertising, because you can advertise on some of the social media platforms as well. Of course, in my opinion, you're actually establishing your budget at the same time, because everything costs money or everything takes time. I mean, even if you don't have to pay directly for the communication, there is a cost involved in terms of the opportunity cost or the time and effort cost for you. You develop your communications mix. So you have options when communicating. So just as you're designing your message, you are also designing what are the best tools to deliver that message. There's no point in doing any of this if you're not going to measure your results. And when you measure your results, you take corrective action. If it's really great, then you keep going. If it's not working so well, then you tweak it and move right along. Keep on stepping so that you can be more effective and efficient. All right, we talked about that already. That's just a reminder, okay? So the objectives are inform, remind, persuade. Behavioral objectives, sell. So you want the ching, the dollars, or you may want to change somebody's perception. You want to introduce a new product. You want to encourage your partner, your business partner, or your channel partner to give you credit. That is action. That is a behavioral objective. They have all these models, and I don't want us to get hung up on the models, so I'm going to fly through them quickly, because all of them have basically similar elements. Probably the most popular is the AIDA model, which is just an acronym for attention, interest, desire, and action. And you have the breakdown of what attention means. So people can't engage with your product unless they're aware of it. So awareness is the first and most important thing. But then you have to stimulate interest, because awareness is not enough. Them have to start to kind of feel some kind of way. And then you want them to develop a desire, right? Them want it now, right? And then you want them to take some action. You see the similarity here with the hierarchical effects model. It starts with the awareness too. And there's a recognition that people sometimes do internal search. Sometimes you have lots of options. You have lots of competing competition, and you have to sort of rank them, especially if you're making a huge purchase, meaning a high ticket item, right? So when you're thinking about say buying a house or buying accommodations. You don't just, the first thing you hear about are it you buy, right? Most people, not true? Let me hear from one, because I'm feeling lonely and my energy going down. Give me some no energy. Hello? Who is there?
Yes, we are.
So
So
talk,
Yes,
man.
please.
basically you're saying that in terms of the hierarchy of the effect model, and I love this model. I'm not seeing the part of the screen for the first one not showing. So I guess you're saying then we get the customer to think, feel, and do. So in order for them to think about to buy from you, they first have to be aware that the product exists. Then they have to develop the product knowledge. So they know about it. So they know it exists, they know about it, so they can decide if they want it. And that's how we go into the field, where people get to like what you're offering. It's like people who like Grace and they don't want to buy Eve or nothing else because they like it. So it becomes their preference. And then it becomes your conviction, which is why they're not buying nothing else. And then they purchase that. So I think for us, our aim should be to get people at the level of conviction where they want to always buy from you and nobody else.
Hey, Mr. Shauna, that is such a wonderful way of explaining this think, feel, do hierarchical model. It clear to everybody? Any question you want to ask? Just pull on the mic.
Oh man, it clear, man.
It clear, miss. Clear as day.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Shauna. That was a very helpful run through. To the awareness to purchase model. See them introduce all kind of big word now. But it's the same thing. It's the same think, feel, do. You see? Cognitive is about the thinking, what go on in your head. The affective is about the feeling, right? But this time they put the conviction in the feeling. And then cognitive is about the action, the doing. Same thing, yes, sir. Nothing, no different. A source of different name them have because everybody want them glory, them 15 minutes of fame. So they all saying the same thing. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because this is an adoption model. So this is about new products in particular. And we'll talk a little bit more about it as we discuss the way in which the innovation adoption curve goes through. So basically, you know, you have customers who everything come out, them have to try it out, and them try it out first. Those are your innovators. They're usually very they have high disposable income. They're knowledgeable about the products, right? Or the category, okay? And so are willing to take greater risk than most other people. The early adopters are slightly more timid, but they are very similar to your innovators. Those people are critical to you when you are introducing new things because they're the ones that are going to provide you with good feedback. They're going to try things quickly, and they are likely, if you develop a relationship with them, to inform you so that you can tweak it before you get to the majority of your customers. Because it's better you fumble with the innovators and the early adopters because they remember they have a higher tolerance for risk, right? And they want to feel, a lot of them want to feel like they're co-creators with you when you're creating new products. So they are willing to give feedback, and you can also incentivize the feedback, right? Incentivize the feedback with promise of discounts of future services and so on. Because when you reach to your early majority, them the people is a little bit timid. And your late majority is even more timid, but not as timid as the laggards. The laggards are people who are looking for products all when them obsolete, all when nobody, you don't want to sell them no more. Them still ask you about them, right? You create something that is better, more cost effective for you, and solve your customers' problem even better. The laggards them still a look for the old something because that's how them stay, right? Where you think you fall in this adoption curve? Anybody here think they're an innovator and early adopter? Hello?
Well, yes, miss. I think I'm an early adopter as I'm a part of the Blue Dot Communa. What they do is when major companies in Jamaica are starting trials for like new products, or they want to change their packages, or they want public opinion, they incentivize us and have us whether come in for a panel or give us through surveys.
Thank you, Mr. Abbey. Okay, anybody want to confess about being a laggard? Okay, I will confess. In many ways, I'm a laggard. Many ways. I am, when I like something, I stockpile it. If I think it may become, sorry. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, if I think it may become, I will go on yourself. My last one was, Unu is there?
What's the question, Miss Sharon?
Oh no, I was just confessing I'm a laggard, that I will stockpile things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I really like something, me not.
Miss, we were at page 31, miss.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Mr.
page
Abbey.
31.
It's such a long slide deck.
Yes. Sorry,
We're doing all of it today.
you don't want to do all of it today?
All of it today feel like overdose.
Okay.
No, Miss Sophia one was longer. I think it was around 80 plus slides, if I'm not
Yeah, but
somebody
Miss
correct.
Sophia had more energy than me. Mr. Shauna
True.
is making a point.
You're a laggard, you're saying.
Yes, I'm confessing to be a laggard. So I stockpile things when I think them not going to sell no more. Because I really I don't really like change. I mean, some categories I'm an early adopter still, but generally speaking, I'm a laggard, or at least a late majority. Anybody else identify with that? Or see themselves anywhere along this curve? All right. I guess nobody not feeling confessional today. Ta-da! This actually won't go fast because this is a lot of stuff that you basically know. So basically, integrated marketing communications is all about recognizing that if you have a unified message, it's going to be more effective than if it's disjointed. If all the 4 P's align, then you're likely to have greater success than if they don't. If all your mechanisms for communicating, whether the channels or the tools, the website, the direct marketing, etc., if those all align, then you're going to be more effective and therefore more efficient. So you want to coordinate everything so that everything tells you the same, basically reinforces the main message. It also saves you money because sometimes you can use the same material in different formats. So you create content for Facebook, which you use in Instagram, and it might even, well, it probably won't go with TikTok, but you know what I mean, right? So you're creating content that can be shared across multiple platforms. That is a recognition of integrated marketing communications. So this is things you're doing already that you don't know the fancy name for. Okay, so this is just, I give the fancy name. So it's saying that all these different tools you're using, you want to be cognizant of the fact that all of them must work together. There's an American Association of Advertising Agency definition. Feel free to read it. Okay. So just like everything else is a process, and it's multi-stage, but the process looks very similar to when we were talking about creating your original marketing communications. Obviously, the objectives is to coordinate everything that you're saying, all your efforts, so that they are unified and targeted, right? And that they are most suitable for your customers and most effective and also efficient, because there's always cost concerns with small businesses. So you see, when I say basically it's a review because we're looking at developing brand awareness, increasing demand, changing attitudes. So it's all about the think, feel, do, like Mr. Shauna talked about, okay? And it all should end with your brand image being enhanced and your market share increasing, which means more dollars in your pocket. That's what all that is about. Maybe the only thing I want to stop and talk about on this slide, I hope I'm not going too fast, but I'm trying to avoid you guys having a Thursday session. Is that okay?
Yes, miss.
Absolutely fine, because it's mostly straightforward.
Okay, so the only thing here that I want to sort of highlight, because we haven't previously discussed it, is the difference between push and pull. And it may not be relevant to most of your businesses, so I'm not gonna dwell, but I think you should know. So when a company pushes information, what they're doing is they're using their channel partners to help to do it, right? So like Miss Tanisha might solicit the help of some of her suppliers in order to get more people into her business. How would she do that? Probably by getting them to send their merchandisers and put up pretty shelf talkers and all those kind of things to communicate, right? But that is the wholesaler that are the supplier. That's their expense, but you are encouraging them to do it. Okay, so there might be some cost to you, but the greater cost is to your channel partners. Your pull now, with your pull, and if I use Miss Tanisha again, Miss Tanisha now going to talk to her customers directly, and she's gonna use sales promotion by discounting. So she have things sit down on the shelf and have to dust them off. It'll take long for them sell. So what she want to do is discount them and get them off our shelf before them expire, right? So she uses pull strategies to encourage her end users, right, to come and buy. So push is when you get help from your channel partners, and pull is when you do it yourself. Okay? Any questions about the pushing and the pulling?
No, miss.
All right, wonderful. We're going to skip this too. We're going to skip that too. Okay, well, we're going to pause a little here because ideally, because you're looking for feedback, you really want media that will allow two-way communication. So when you have somebody engaged in direct marketing, they're calling you, they can get a direct response from you same time. As opposed to when you put a if you were to put a newspaper ad or sponsor, well, I think maybe with sponsorship, you might be able to get direct feedback as well. But with a radio ad, you wouldn't get direct feedback. You understand? And so those things, we value both the one-way and the two-way, and they serve their purpose, the purposes. But the two-way is particularly useful given your limited resources because it helps you to easily measure the results. All right. So we just want to recognize that this integrated marketing communication, just like all communications, are always ongoing. Even when you think you stop talking to your customer, them still hear you. Even when you think you can stop listening, you can't, because they're giving you valuable feedback. There is no starting and stopping. It is continuous. So it really takes a lot of energy. And so that's why you have to figure out the best tools for you to optimize your results. All right, so it tell you the tools and stuff. I saw from most of the feedback, the pre-test, that you guys fully well understand how to use all the different tools, right? So I'm not gonna dwell on it. This just goes into it even more. You find really personal selling is best in a business to business and sales environment. So, Mr. Shauna, you will do a lot of personal selling because your touch is necessary to persuade, to inform, fully inform, persuade your customers to act oftentimes. But you may also use other tools. So it's saying that direct marketing is less personal, and so it is less effective than the personal selling, because with personal selling, the thing you can do is people can ask questions, raise objections, and you can deal with them right away. Anybody have question? Is that what's happening? Because I can't really see.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just responding to what you're saying. But one of the things that I find,
Yes, Mr. Sean.
and I was having a discussion with a well-known investor last night, and he asked me some very challenging questions like, what I named a big target, right? I said, I'm doing okay, but I want to start to have like $100 million years, right? And he said, what is it gonna take? So I said, well, right now I do a lot of personal selling and I do a lot of physical. I am standing in the room. So I have to find a way to scale that. to make everything that I offer digital in many digital packages and so on, whether it's books or courses or programs that people can buy and blah, blah, blah. So why I raise that now is because of the fact that I do so much personal selling, and it is good that I get a lot of referrals, because once people see me operate in a room, they'll tell somebody that if you want somebody to do this training, they can call Next Step. They're very good in the room, blah, blah, blah. But what I find that it's difficult to scale a business like that unless you are selling like a luxury product, or like you're one of those big names that can sell a coaching program for 20,000 US and people buy it. Because otherwise, with the personal selling, how are you gonna make a lot of money?
Sharing that, Mr. Shauna.
Yeah.
You are come. Next Step soon reach right there, so okay? Go along same way.
Okay.
Dream big and work hard, and you will reach there.
So we need to learn the other selling strategy then. We sell on a mass scale, because the personal selling they make it go slow.
Well, the personal selling is slow because you haven't scaled and you don't have a sales force. You are the sales force. That's the problem. When you get bigger, you can have a bigger sales force, right?
Sales force
Well-
weak. Sales force tired.
Yes, me understand. Same thing I go on here, so. Salesforce week today in particular. Anyhow, so we're looking at the direct marketing and recognizing that generally speaking, it is going to be less personal than the personal selling, but it's also going to be less expensive. And it's going to be more effective than the advertising and the public relations and all those others, right? Advertising is expensive, except if you can afford to use the same ads repeatedly, then you're saving some money, okay? But when you're creating things, I mean, with the use of AI, you can create things, ads fairly cheaply, you know, fairly high quality ads fairly cheaply, but it is sometimes not as low cost as we would want it to be. It might still be out of our reach, but we need to use these modern day tools and avail ourselves of everything that is there in order to drive down our costs and help us to scale quickly, like Mr. Shauna says. Publicity can be extremely valuable, particularly in terms of brand new products, a brand new business, right? In establishing credibility. So if you want to build street creds, you need some kind of publicity. Now, things like event sponsorship and stuff falls into the category of publicity. And usually we talk about publicity being unpaid, but that is not always the case. Because if you want up on Smile Jamaica, me here say you have to pay them now.
If
So,
you know nobody can get you on.
right.
Yes, miss. The last time I checked, miss, 120,000. They told me, miss.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like me I tell Mr. Shana, me know for true that them charge
Yeah.
you.
You have to have something what them want here.
Or as you said, know somebody. Know somebody.
Yeah.
Anyhow, publicity have its place because that is a credible third party, basically endorsing your operations. But you know what is the best publicity you have?
What's that?
You know what is the best publicity you have?
Me as in me, or me
All
as
uno, all
in
uno, all
people,
uno.
as in us.
Yeah, all of uno.
What is that? I don't know. I don't know.
The loyal customers who give referrals.
Oh, that's true. They are our personal evangelists. Go tell it
All
on.
right. Amen, sister. Amen. So you may not be a large corporation that can sponsor a huge event and have your banners splashed all over and pay Smile Jamaica them 120,000, although a 200 mid-year. I suppose it depends on who it is and what they think your ability is to pay. But you can use these tools too, right? Okay, sales promotion.
I was saying, Miss Sharon,
Mhm.
what I realized as well, and that's why we have to network and make friends. There is a way to engage journalists and these people that makes them move to something. But if you don't know, you just don't know. Because, for example, I send out a press release all the time when I'm doing a Little Genius initiative, and sometimes nobody carries it, or long after I might say I look at one feature. But the other day I did a workshop at the US Embassy, and there was a girl in there that is we call them like publicists. And I
Yes.
said to her, as a barter, because I'm doing this workshop free for high impact person, can you write me a press release and get it in the paper? And it was in the paper in 24 hours. I don't know what should the difference from what I normally do when I send it out to how many media houses and them now carry it. But they have some little nuance thing that they know how to do to get things. So you have to, because I didn't pay the girl, but I barter off with her. Even my taxes are filed, and I gave somebody my login and I exchanged a service with them to help them build their brand, them file my taxes. So you just have a slick to know how to get yourself out there in the media and all of that.
Yeah, bartering is extremely critical for small businesses, and you should do as much bartering as you can. I thank you for sharing that, Ms. Tishana. Sales promotions. If you do flyers, if you announce sales, right, or discounts, it's a form of sales promotion. So whether or not you believe you engage in sales promotions, you do. Okay. What do we really need to say out of it? Basically, this one statement captures it. Integrated marketing communications creates a competitive advantage to boost sales and profits while saving money, time, and stress. That is the most important thing to take away from this. You're saving money because you're being effective and efficient with the unified message, so you're not creating no confusion with your target audience. Okay, you're boosting sales and profits because when you do it right the first time, then the dollars come in. Okay, and that gives you an advantage over your competition who is not using integrated marketing communication, who don't do these classes, and who don't understand the importance of ensuring the unified message across all the P's, right? Across every way in which you communicate. You can read at your leisure because they relate it even to the relationship marketing. And they basically they elaborate on that point that we just made. But I feel somehow you guys have it and we reach the end. See there? See there, Mr. Shana? It never take that long. and me don't dead yet. Please feel free to ask questions now. Make a see if I can open up so I can see everybody. Hello, people.
We
Dear
are
Hello.
here,
Miss,
Mr.
dear
Ron.
Miss.
Hold on, you Miss Sharon, sir. Hey, no, watch it.
No, Mr. Ron, you will be rough enough with the year.
Yeah, but if you answer me, you
All
got
right,
any
Mr. Ron.
question?
No
Yes,
questions
Miss.
right now, Miss Sharon. Just go and do some reading. A
And
couple
remember,
more
watch
slides
the
to
video
cover
them.
on the
I
videos.
Understand when I ask no question.
Sorry,
you're
hold on
clear.
one second, make I just done. I curated those videos specially for Uno, okay? So take some time and watch them. Like I say, it's 6 of them, but I don't believe any of them are more than 3 minutes long. All right?
All right, Miss. I have a
Okay.
question, Miss.
Yes, Mr. Shana, may I rough you up?
Sometime, but a part of the process, not true?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry for rough you up. I mean for rough you up.
Okay.
It's done all with love and with the desire for your greater success.
I understand that from the first day we met.
Okay. All right, Miss Tish. Mr. Abby, talk to me.
Right, Miss. Good morning again, everyone. My question is, we are on TikTok, we are on Facebook, we are on Threads. Let's just say we are on most of the social media platforms, right? But most of the social media platforms are different in their own ways. Some of them, they allow you to post a photo, while some of them will allow you to post a video. Some of them people will gravitate more to a photo, while some of them will gravitate more to a slideshow, some of them will gravitate more to a video. Now, my question is, how do you ensure that you are encompassing all of these social medias, should say platforms, when you're making, when you're designing your content strategy, should say, so you can post across all platforms? Is it that you make a video of something and then you post a photo of it on another platform and it speaks the same message, or on all platforms it has to be a video or it has to be a photo across all platforms?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Abby. It's a very complicated question. I wonder if you stay up at night time, just think up them things, discombobulate people brain with them drugged up brain, okay?
And so Mr. Abby question him stay all the time.
And that me I wonder, me say he must don't sleep, okay? Let me attempt to respond. So while you want a unified message, it don't mean it's the same message and it's using the same symbols, okay? You are going to design your message depending on which tool you're going to use to disseminate that message. So your message on Instagram cannot be the same as the message. Well, sorry, your execution, not your message. Your execution cannot be the same on TikTok as it would be on Instagram or Facebook, right? Because
Right.
they have different operating parameters, not true?
True, Miss, true.
So all you want to make sure is that across all of them, whatever mechanism you're using to communicate, whether it be images, still photos, video, whatever, that they are not contradicting each other. That's all me I say with the integrated marketing campaign. So it's not that me telling you that you can design one thing and it use across every single one. Most definitely not. Life could never be that easy for us. The other thing you need to bear in mind is you don't have to be present on all social media platforms, because it is better to manage the number of platforms you're on and do a great job on the ones you're on than do a so-so job on the whole heap of them. You understand, Mr. Abby?
Yes, miss. Yes, miss. What I do, miss, I incorporate everything, miss. So when I post on one, miss, it goes to all.
The same thing?
Yes, miss. I can say that, miss, because if you go to our Instagram, miss, and our Facebook, you can compare the posts, miss.
No, well, Instagram and Facebook have similar formats, so that's fine. But I wouldn't expect to see the same thing on TikTok. Are you on TikTok too?
Yes, miss. We're on TikTok too, miss, with some video formats of what we have posted on Facebook, should say. Not the exact same images, but it has the same, should say, message right across. the
Okay,
board.
so you all, so Mr. Abby, we ask the question for you don't have the answer already, and you do the right thing.
Just wanted clarity, miss. You know, you have to be sure, miss, and being that you have given me the platform to ask the question, miss, make use of it, miss.
Okay, Mr. Abby, thank you for the question. I hope it helped others, and I'm glad it helped you. Mr. Nisha, you was here with us?
Yes, miss, I've been here.
Anything you need clarified?
Oh, for this, I'm familiar with this course, so
Okay, very good.
yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. Mr. Machi, you good? Thank you, Mr. Nisha.
We'll
You're
check.
welcome.